It's because our peace is hiding at the deepest core level of our being, and there's all these obstacles, all these blocks around it. You can call that karma. You can call that the human personal self with all its little, arrogance and desires and guile and ego and all that. Right? This is the game. This is the game. How to reconnect with the peace when all these layers of insanity and ignorance is blocking that. That's why the peace is at the core. And that's why you can't go to a class or take a course and think somehow you're going to bypass all that, and then you just realize the peace. Oh, the peace. Now, when I was younger, I felt, when I was 12, I was thrown into, by the way, if you want to see my autobiography of a human book, you can see my website, and I show my story. I talk about it, and I talk about, you'll get a much better idea what's going on for those who are interested. When I was 12, I felt a deep, spontaneous, deep peace. Okay? This is important, what I'm going to say. Now, so I could say, well, but how did that happen? I was only 12. I had all this, I'm an avatar or something? Like I didn't have to go through anything. I just felt all this peace. And what about, because Yash, you just said, like, we have layers of karma and personal, human garbage that we have to transcend because everybody comes here with something. So did you get a pass on that? Like, how did you access that peace when you just got through saying the peace is buried under everything, and you got to these layers have to be dissolved before you can get to the peace? Yeah, it's true. And here's why it's true. The peace didn't last. I couldn't handle it. It was a boon. You can say it was a boon or gift from God. The divine can bypass this stuff. Yeah, but we can't make the divine do that. We don't even know what it's doing. You gonna what's the divine? It's a phenomenon. But for whatever reason, it gave me a taste. That peace was able to come through all that stuff. And then I was like, wow, this is great. And then I was like, whoa, this is hell. Why? Why did I say it was hell? Because that inner war that takes place, it's part of the game, I'm like, how can I go be cool and go do all the crazy things I want to do and drive the motorcycle real fast and go to school and be cool and get into fights? Like, how can I do it? I have this peace. I feel like telling people I love them. I can't do that. People think I'm weird, gay or something. And so then I think I had a panic attack even. Might have been the only time in my life I had one. So the walls were closing in. I was suffocating. I called the preacher up like 2 a.m. This church I used to go to at that time, and he tried to settle me down, and then finally the peace, it left me. And then afterwards I'm like, you were stupid as hell. You're back in your very limited sense of existence with all the pain and anxiety and depression and suffering your human condition. Like, what the hell? Okay, because nobody's exempt from this this suffering. That some of the highest people, I think Buddha also, I don't know, I wasn't there 5,000 years ago what he said, but it's said that he said life is suffering. He suffered, according to his story. Jesus suffered. Like, anybody authentic suffered. The people that act like they don't suffer is the YouTubers. The YouTubers, oh, you just everything like peace, love, light, everybody, unicorns, bliss, bliss. You just realize everything's perfection. Can you see how hollow that is, though? Yeah, I had a guy leave a comment. He was like, I can't believe, though, that the people just wake up in the morning and look at the sun and now they're awake ever since or something, or watch a video. I said, yeah, man, of course. It's not like that. Because he's been around long enough. He knows. So what happens, why do we need this suffering, most of us? Again, look at like Ramana Maharshi. He suffered, thought he was going to die. See, we weren't there. We read stories, and stories are misleading. Wow, he was dying. He was so at peace, and he even told the ants, like, go ahead and eat me since I'm dying. I want to give you food, or there were something like that. What do you think? He wasn't hurting? Think Jesus wasn't hurting when he was nailed to the cross? Eckhart Tolle, you know how many years he spent in depression, man? Decades. Like these layers that are covering the piece have to be dissolved. And if you want to know about my suffering, I get very specific, more specific about it in the autobiography book. I don't see any way around it. There's just no way. How you can't get the depth, you can't get to the deeper nature without this suffering. It's like the suffering cracks these layers that I'm saying that's covering your piece. The suffering is like, it cracks it because it's like, it sucks, it's intense, and it's like cracking it. That's why, ironically, and the truth is always ironic and paradoxical, the people that you think you're having a hard time and life's not fair and no God and he hates me and all this stuff, you're on a fast track to waking up. Especially if you're not doing like, horrible things. Well, you couldn't be watching, you wouldn't watch videos like this. You're trying to do the best you can do, but you're still suffering, and you feel like you're powerless over it. Yeah, you're cooking. You sit in that furnace for a while. You can call it hell if you want. I was in hell, man, for a long time, and you can end up being in hell again. Some of these beings who you listen to, and they clearly have a high level of self-realization. You don't know, they can fall, life can hit them again. This planet is no joke. This is a very challenging planet. If you hear people say, just life is easy, just make life easy, they're usually young when they're saying that, or they're just delusional. We don't know what's going to happen in life, man. But I know this. There's peace in your suffering. It's just you can't feel it yet. And I told you, I already explained the job, the purpose of the suffering. Acid grace is a better word. That suffering is like, it's like acid. It's like pouring acid on your karma and your bad habits and all these things that need to dissolve. And they dissolve, and then the peace comes. And then you're like, that was worth it. Because you can't even, it shows everything's a dream. You don't even remember. Like those moments where I'm like seriously like ready to die. Like how can I go one more moment, God? Like it's impossible. Oh, you just went another moment. Yeah, I know, but I can't go another moment. Yeah, those times, it's like, where are they at right now? I don't even, I'd have to like really think and reconnect with that. And just imagine if we didn't have it, we didn't have the software called memory. Take the memory out, then you really see everything's a dream. Memory keeps this game very seemingly real, and everything's linear, and you can remember, like you have your memories. You're a kid, now you're a teenager, and then what if you didn't have the memory? You're just here right now, and then that's it. We find this out at the latest after we leave the body. But you can get it, you can understand this before that, which is what we want to do, because any points we get, realizations we have while we're here in this body, in this form, this is where it really counts. It's much easier when we leave the body. Your perception and your intuition's much more vast, and you can see things much more clear. It's easy. That's why we came here. It was like, that's too easy. Like, can we recognize our true nature while we're here? Yeah. But when you dream at night, here, this gives you a taste already. I'm talking about these vivid dreams where you're like, you can wake up and you're like, you could just be crying, or you could still be really angry, or because the dream was like you were in it, man. But then you wake up in the morning and you're like, then that detoxes out of you, and you're like, Jesus, it's just a dream. But how many can really realize that right now within this dream? I'm not talking about just mental belief. Yeah, this is a dream too, and everything. Yeah. And somebody says, "You're stupid." Hey, what'd you say? Hey, bro, I thought you said like that's a dream though. Yeah, but I'm gonna regulate. So it's much more difficult when the physical body's activated, astral body's activated, all these layers of software is activated, but at the same time to recognize, like, especially if you're in a hell of a circumstance, to recognize, and your emotions kick off, and then the thoughts fuel the emotions, and your issues and trauma activates. Yeah, are you gonna remember it's a dream? So hold some space for yourself and understand, like, this planet, man, is a trip. Like, for me, sharing about these things, this is where it's at. If we can have understanding about this stuff, just for me, that's how my realizations accelerated. This is why I'm sharing this. I just don't feel it's, what are we gonna do? I'm gonna do a guided meditation. Okay, you're sitting in the woods and you're like flying through the air, and you see your inner child and he smiled at you or something. Like, that's okay. Like, I was gonna say, I'm not making fun of it, but I think I am. It's cool. But we all have our gift and our things to share. I'm sharing what I'm sharing, because for me, true understanding and knowledge is what helps set me free. Much better than just doing a yoga meditation strict practice. But if you do that also in conjunction with introspection and with understanding things, well, then what else can you do? And healthy lifestyle habits and diet, that's all you can do. And then you let the play, let it play out. And it takes as long as it takes. Do I have to suffer, though, the way you said, in order to get to the peace? I don't know. I don't know. All I know is those beings who really have a depth about them and some authentic realization, yeah, they all suffered. Sometimes I tell people, forget about it. Like, drop this pursuit of awakening. Just stop it. Who cares? Who cares? Like, if you know, because some say, oh, I don't want to live another lifetime. Like, I want this to be done. That's mine. That's mine. It's not your business. It's not your business if this is your last life, if you come back next life, if you come back in 5 lives. Like, who cares? It's not your business. You've surrendered, ideally. Like, this is what you want to do. You want to be open to surrender in your life. Your life's not your life. It's not your life. There's a much greater power that's running this show, that puts you here now, that's taking care of you, and it decides. It decides you come back, you don't come back. You trust this power. You cultivate this trust in this power, and then you don't care anymore. You're not thinking, oh, this is my last life. How awake am I? And all that stuff. Do I need to suffer in order to awake? Don't get caught up in all that. So why'd you make the video and say about suffering? Because I'm talking to the people who are suffering. That's why. I want to let them know, because when you're suffering with things, I know from past experience, it's real easy to start for the mind to paint a very grim picture about things, and like think you're doing something wrong. And then especially when you see the airy fairies that are saying like, oh, everything's cool. Yeah. So that's why I'm talking to those people, because I have some natural empathy and compassion for them. And so I'm trying to say, like, you're cool, man. You're probably ahead of the game. It just don't feel like it. Yeah, I want to leave you with that. I'll see you.